Welcome to the Germinate Podcast, where agriculture, business, and innovation take root and thrive. I'm Joe Sampson, and with nearly 2 decades of experience in agricultural equipment and scaling businesses, I'm here to bring you actionable insights, inspiring stories, and strategic advice. Whether you're an industry veteran or just starting out, this podcast is your guide to cultivating ideas, expanding your knowledge, and growing your venture. So let's get started and germinate your path to success. All right, folks, welcome to the Germinate Podcast. We've got a good one on today. Another 3-man band that we're trying to work out. We've done this one other time, but this is the second time we've done a 3-man band. So Marc Adams with GBGI. Really, this is going to be kind of his episode. He's got a special guest on. So Marc, go ahead and introduce.
Yeah, so I'm Marc Adams with GBGI. I'm the VP of Sales here, and with me today I've got Vaughn Cohen with New Day Precision down in Aberdeen, Mississippi. He's one of our biggest dealers down in the South. Done a great job with GBGI products, but not only GBGI products, they do a great job down there with planter maintenance. They really listen to their customers, so I'm happy to have him on.
Awesome. Well, welcome aboard, Vaughn. Why don't you talk a little bit about yourself, how you got started, and you know, all that good stuff.
Yeah, well, we've been in this. We're headed into our 21st selling season here, so we've been in the business a while. We were one of the first ones to get going in precision planting this in the state of Mississippi, so we were kind of grandfathered into a lot of the stuff. But we started this business from the ground up. I ran it by myself for years, and then we started adding a few employees and a few service trucks, and then about 5 years ago, we built a nice facility to build planters in, and set up a shop in an actual location, and with offices and staff to man the whole thing. And we just continued to expand. We hit a little bit of a downturn here now in this low ag market, but we're gonna weather it, and we're gonna come through stronger on the other side and be smarter and go forward being a successful business the way it looks.
Yeah, man, good for you. It's like the American success story. Start from kind of nothing and then grow into what you are today. I love it. It's not, people think it's easy, but man, doing something like that is not easy. There's a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of hard work, a lot of ups and downs in this market. So congratulations. That's awesome on your success and weathering the storm.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So what do you focus on in your dealership? Do you have a primary focus? Marc kind of alluded to it, mainly planting, but give us a little bit of an idea on what you guys are zeroing in on there.
Yeah, so we've been primarily we started out in the retrofit market with precision planting, and just putting V-drive, Delta Force, speed tubes, and we kind of grew up with that. We started out with the old Air Force. So, and then we started about 7 or 8 years ago, started moving into building planters from the ground up. So, and then also using precision planting products. And I think now all the latest planters that are coming through here are loaded up with GBGI, as far as with the shanks and the parallel arms and all the W brackets. So that's a great asset to our business. I mean, they're light, they're durable, they last for years. And so primary focus is planters. Now we've got into some Amazon spreaders. We're taking on a seed line up here shortly. So we're trying to, refocus a little bit through this whole downturn and just trying to be more profitable with less people. And so, yeah. That's our 3 main lineups. And then an interesting little fact, I sell catfish feed, floating catfish feed. I'm probably one of the 4 or 5 sales guys in the whole United States, or probably in the South America or whole South America, that sells catfish feed. So that's kind of a neat little gig that I do. So works out great.
I visited a few of his farms with him. It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool operation. That is cool. I got to talk about that. What is catfish feed? I want to know what it is?
Yeah. It's just a soybean based meal. It's extruded. so it floats. And yeah, we feel it. We feed it to our controlled environment catfish production ponds. We've got several 100,000 acres around this area with them. So yeah.
That's awesome. I spent some time in the South, Yazoo City, Mississippi. I don't know how far you are, how close are you
Yeah.
to Yazoo,
I'm about 2.5 hours, but Yazoo City is one of my bigger areas.
Everybody smiles when I say Yazoo City, Mississippi. Why is that? I say that to everybody, and they get a big grin on their face. But yeah, it's an interesting place for those of you who've never been there. But I went to a catfish farm there, and then for Christmas, the people that I was working with sent me a box of catfish. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Probably Simmons catfish over
It could
there.
have been. I can't remember, but it was I mean, it doesn't taste like catfish you fish out of the Lake of the Ozarks here. I can tell you that.
Yeah, guarantee it doesn't.
No,
Much better. And by the way, just a plug for the catfish industry, only demand U.S. farm raised.
Okay.
Yeah. Demand U.S. farm raised.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's we'll plug that in the show notes as well, because it's a different it's really good eats. I mean, it was fantastic food, and I like eating catfish out of lakes and rivers anyway. They got to be the right size, but we always have a bit of a catfish, last day grill out session or fish fry session. So I'm a proponent. Good for you.
Just got to get that mud vein out of them. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. It's not easy. It's not easy. Well, yeah, that's awesome. Good plug on that. I get this all the time. So, people always ask me, how do you develop relationships? How do you develop sales? How does GBGI and a dealer in Mississippi get connected? So, Marc, Vaughn, why don't you guys talk about that story, if you can remember it?
Yeah, actually, I was at a SEMA conference down in New Orleans, and Vaughn reached out to me out of the blue. I didn't even know the number. And I think you guys were having some shortages or something on parallel linkage and some hardware for the parallel linkage. And so luckily we had some stuff in stock. I got it out to him right away. And from there, one thing turned into another. Went down, we met up, introduced ourselves to each other for the first time, and we've been working together ever since. It's been a really good working relationship. Vaughn's come up here. He was integral in helping us to launch that whole hybrid shank that we got going now. And wait, you made the drive up here 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I know where you live.
Well, dude, that's important, because it's somebody listening to the feedback of somebody else and then developing something maybe new to the market. And yeah, I mean, Vaughn, that's a special talent. Not everybody has the wherewithal and the stick-to-itiveness, I say, to get that done. So what made it, obviously the relationship with Marc and GBGI made you feel comfortable enough to do that, but that's a big thing. That's a big step. Talk about that.
Yeah, so the biggest thing is that we're looking for, and the whole industry is hungry for today, is these farmers are hungry for somebody that's going to be quick to the market, quick to make a change, and make a solid change, and then stands behind the product. That's really, really where we're having to go. Brand is getting to be maybe not such a big deal anymore. Like the deer and the Case IH, there's guys, especially your younger farmers, are really, really looking at these value-added products that are actually better than the OEM. And they're cleaner, they're easy, they're just as easy to put on, they're just as and you're working with a company that says yes more than they say no. And
Sure.
No, it'll be 2 years before we can have that product. No, it'll be 3 months before we can have that product to you, or we can have you a test of something in 3 months to try. Those are the things that are really, really that's a big deal for us as small business owners in the ag market. We've got to be fast, we got to be efficient, and we've got to have service. And we've got to be able to produce when that producer wants us to produce a product. And especially the parallel arms with GBGI. I told Mark here a while back, I thought he built them too good.
Oh, really?
We're not selling
Yeah, I
enough
share that
parts.
story.
We're not selling enough parts.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they're lasting too long. And which in all reality, it's a good thing. When you have a product that goes to the market and it lasts and it does what it says it's going to do, in the end, you are going to win, because that just keeps snowballing on you more and more and more. Yes, you could build a little subpar product and sell more parts, but as soon as another company comes along that has a superior product, you're out the door immediately.
That's right.
So that's just where we're at with it.
And don't sell yourself short on the service aspect either, because that's one thing, Vaughn, with you guys. We work with a lot of dealers around the country, and I'll tell you, the most successful dealers that we have are the guys that actually pay attention to what the customer needs, and you go out and you do the service work on the planners, and you guys actually care with what you're doing. That goes a long way, and that's how you keep customers as well.
Yeah, service is absolute key. Showing up when you say you're going to show up and answering your phone, and then service. That all is kind of in the package. And that's what we strive to do here at New Day, and I think most of our customers would give us a thumbs up on that. So,
Isn't it funny that we have to say that in today's world? But it's so simple.
it's crazy.
It's crazy. It's so simple, but my gosh, service is one of those things where it doesn't matter where you go, whether you go to New Day dealership or the Subway in Tipton, Missouri. It's like all you got to do is act. Not even, I shouldn't say that. All you got to do is really care. You got to care about your customer in the end. And that used to be like the easiest thing in the world. Like, your customer matters. And now it seems like for some reason, that customer doesn't matter. We'll just bring in more. It's like, what happened here? And now it's something so simple that we still say. But yeah, I agree. Those that are doing the service and those that actually care about their customers, sky's the limit. I mean, you guys are going to go as far as you can, because it's sort of a rare thing in today's world. I hate to say it.
It's a real rare thing. Your big companies out there, and I don't care who it is, they just don't care, all the way from selling you an adjuvant or a product, or even your seed. A lot of these farmers are not even getting the seed that they requested. And, the products that, hey, we really just think you need this. Well, you know what? That farmer knows his field.
Exactly.
He knows his field, and he knows. It's just like a prime example of what I learned here a couple of years ago. I said I sold a product in the state of Nebraska, and I went out there and helped set this product it was a friend of mine. And what I was used to here in Mississippi, it was totally different in Nebraska, 100% different. And I was like, well, this is crazy. From now on, Vaughn, you need to be careful about what you do and start asking more questions, because it matters in today's corn market and bean market. Every single pass and every single dollar counts. And we've just got to hone in, and the guys that are paying attention to that, every single plant and every single acre are going to win in the end.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the importance of working with a company like GBGI, because you nailed it before. The go-to-market strategy is so much faster, and things evolve and change so quickly, especially in the corn and soybean market. I mean, from season to season, to row, to field, things are just crazy different nowadays, with different seeds, different equipment, different applications and spraying. So, Marc, talk a little bit about why you feel that's a strength for GBGI, just to be able to bring something to market, because it can be dangerous to bring something to market quickly too. But
Yeah, well, it's actually pretty easy. I mean, we listen. Our entire aftermarket business with precision planting dealers is built off of the dealer themselves and the grower, the end user. So we've talked about this in the past. Everything started off with the disc openers, the parallel linkage, the gauge wheel arms, everything else we've developed Yeah, it's GBGI's engineering team putting in the work and we're machining the products. But all of those ideas came from the dealers and the farmers.
Yeah.
So when you have a guy with hands-on experience and you're working hand in hand with them, where, that's one thing. Like, yeah, we're on this Zoom call now, but that's one thing that I'll never get rid of, face-to-face contact and meetings with these guys so you can actually see what they're going through and where the shortcomings are on the equipment. That's how you develop stuff. You develop it efficiently. Um, you develop it quickly because ultimately the guy that's bringing you the problem is the guy that wants to put those parts on his machine and prove out that it works and prove out that it's better. And show his customers, or if he's a grower, show his neighbors, quite frankly, hey, this is what you should be doing. So when you're working with the end user, there's no better way to launch something and get it to market quickly. And also the fact that we're a small family owned business, we can adapt.
Yep.
We're not tied in with the big guys. So we listen. We know there's a problem. We're going to try and fix it.
Yeah, and a customer like Vaughn could come and drive to Chardon, Ohio, and he, Vaughn, you might have an idea and you might have something, and it's ultimately all coming from the grower because you're listening to your customer. Mark, you're listening to Vaughn, and in the end, the customer wins as a result of it. So, yeah, those trips that you've taken to Chardon, Ohio, Vaughn, it's all derived from an end user that maybe had an idea, and you're like, yeah, we need to bring this thing to market because this is going to be a solid gold winner, right?
Yeah, and you never know when you're going to hit on a big one. Just like the parallel arms. I keep going back to parallel arms, but I can't stress. I don't care what kind of downforce system you've got on your planter, whether it's Deere, whether it's Precision Planting, Ag Leader, or Springs, or whatever it is. A bad parallel arm is a downforce system is never going to overcome a bad parallel arm. It will never do it. It cannot react fast enough to a clod or a rock, and an extra rattle and an extra quarter inch of play in there. You will never react quick enough to that. So here a couple of years ago, I had a farmer, he put Delta Force on his planter, and he pulled 6 or 7 ears in a row, and they were all different sizes. And he goes, Vaughn, I bought Delta Force from you because I was going to take care of this problem. Well, I went to him and I lifted the back of his parallel arms. Well, he had completely neglected that part of maintenance. So it comes back to maintenance. If you don't have the fundamentals right, you have nothing. You can spend $300,000 on technology on a planter and not have any more than you had when you started if your maintenance isn't right. That is what so many guys think about, from your C-tube guards to your disc openers. Having an absolute disc opener that is so true, and the anti-scrubbing. When you get a bad disc opener that sits there and wobbles and scrubs all day long, well, I don't care if you paid half the money of what GBGI is, it's not going to outlast GB. I mean, it's going to be a throwaway product in a year. So another thing from our standpoint as a dealership, we were taking a subpar disc opener and having to spend 2 or 3 hours shimming out a planter, a 12-row planter. We'd shim it, tightened up. Oh, no, we need to make a little adjustment here. Now with GBGI, we can just go across it. We can set a pattern and go across it. 9 out of 10 times, we're exactly right at the end of the planter, all the way across. It made it much more efficient. My shop much more efficient for me. The farmer can grab that blade, and it's a lot better. And it just says, hey, does GBGI have any more products like this? That are great.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it makes a big difference.
So when
Makes a big difference.
I bet when you first started calling on Vaughn, Mark, was it just one product that you brought to him, and then it's evolved into more? Or?
No, when he had told me they were looking at stuff for the parallel arms, but that's why I think that the face-to-face meetings, actually putting a face to the name and going down and meeting with these guys is so critical, because I brought down what we were offering at that time, which didn't include the shanks or anything that we're doing today. And we went through all that, and that's kind of how everything else kicked off. But yeah, it was, that kind of shows how we've evolved. The whole shank deal that we're doing now, a lot of that, probably at least 50%, if not more, should be accredited to New Day, because there were seed tube issues. But be completely honest about it, we built that around precision planting speed tube. And these guys down here, what we were working on at the time was peanut planters, and they're running a wide wave vision seed tube. Well, with our shank and some of the modifications we made and how we tried to beef it up, we didn't account for the fact that that wide seed tube's probably not going to go through that shank properly with all that added material. So it's stuff like that, it's we just keep building on it.
The lesson there, maybe for everybody listening, is that sometimes your next customer is a current customer that you already have. It's just figuring out another problem that you can solve. And really, it's the same thing. It's listen to your customer. It's focus on the fundamentals, or like Vaughn said, sort of the maintenance that you could spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on the fanciest thing, but if you're not focusing on the simple things like the maintenance of item and its strong, durable parts, well, you're in trouble. And maybe number 3 is how quickly can you bring something like this to market? Vaughn might have a really good idea next that's, who knows what it is. It could be anything. It could be, who knows? Any idea that's running around. And, just because they're a current customer doesn't mean they can be your next best customer too. And I think that's what we live in, a world like that too. It's, always go find the next one. Find the next one. No. Listen to your current ones and continue to build them up with other more diversified products. And you nailed it too, Vaughn. Sometimes in these downturns in agriculture, you got to focus on things that are going to not only get you out of it, but when the market does turn, how do you really thrive in that market? And it sounds like you guys are working on those things on a day-to-day basis.
You just got to figure out what's your best product out there, and that they sell themselves. I mean, and that's what we've done, GBGI. You don't have to do a whole lot of selling. Yeah. It just speaks for itself. Our spreaders, the Amazon spreaders, they're kind of speaking for themselves. Tremendously accurate, high end, and now the seed company that we're going to take on, the best in the industry, so you just gotta, and then we also carry Martin, and we carry Yetter and all this kind of stuff, that everything that surrounds the planter we carry. But yeah, and now sprayers, that's a whole new world of something we're going to start gravitating towards here in the next couple of years. So yeah, it'll be big stuff.
Why are you focusing on sprayers? Why do you think the importance of sprayers?
Sprayers are going to be, they're going to be outside of the most important pass that you make is the planter, but the sprayer is going to be and it is already, is the next biggest used and the most necessary piece of equipment in the market. It just is. I mean, sprayers are coming more and more and more to the forefront, from wide dropping, putting on nitrogen, being able to spray fungicides, being able to, you name it, that they're just going to be used for every single thing. Scouting, cameras, Precision Planting offers cameras now, and who knows what the future is. So
yeah, I'm not well versed in sprayers at all, but I attend these guys' planter clinics, and Precision has that Symphony system now. It's pretty impressive from what I've learned just in the few short meetings that I've been a part of. It's pretty cool to see.
And who knows what's coming. Another company is 360 Rain. With their irrigation, they got cameras on them things, and them things creep through the field, and the scouting options and the stand and taking stand counts and the stand growth stages, and that all is a huge importance, especially in $4 corn that we're sitting in right now. If that one single plant is not right, it's a big thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of these guys just aren't waking up, but you're 40 and under farmers, year-old farmers and under, they're starting to understand that. And I know I love all my 40 and up, and I'm 50, so I understand this, but your 40 and up farmers, they grew up in an era where, some of this stuff just didn't make a whole lot of difference. And inputs were low, and they had $6 to $7 for their corn,
Right.
and 12, 13, $14 on their beans. You could afford to make a few mistakes. Now you better be watching every pass. You better be making every pass count, and every single thing has to be right on every one of those pieces of equipment.
What do you think the future? I mean, you talked a little bit about spraying, and I'll have some conversation with you offline about that. There's some interesting things out there that I've seen as well. But what do you think the future of farming is? I mean, obviously there's a lot of talk about autonomous, about AI, about all these technologies that I think are pretty groundbreaking. In fact, I've got a guy talking in a session here in July on, he's a digital strategist for Syngenta, and the amount of AI and technology they use in some of these crop science and crop protections blows your mind. It's fascinating stuff. So you mentioned the guy under 40 who's really revolutionizing the farm. What do you see? What do you see as I mean, what's your take on all this? I'm your same age, roughly, too, so I'm kind of in the middle of it all, but what's your take on it? I'd like to hear both of your guys' takes, honestly. Go ahead, Vaughn.
It's a little bit hard to answer because a lot of them guys are underneath lock and key because their daddy still has the checkbook.
Yeah.
But
That's what I was going to say, too.
So,
Yeah.
But if that daddy with that checkbook would just listen to a few of those things, not go crazy, I think it's going to evolve. I think autonomy is going to come, but you can have an autonomous tractor, but what about that piece of equipment behind it? That's going to be a big thing. I mean, Deere is showing their field cultivator and their discs that are smart piece of equipment. I'm all about that. But we're going to have sensors, and we're going to have capabilities of knowing when that thing is running through too high a moisture ground where it's going to clod up, create clods where a guy like you and me would just lift up the piece of equipment and just drive over it. Well, that piece of smart equipment, that might be 2-3 acres in a 40-acre field. Well, for some reason, the yield goes down a lot quicker than it comes up for some reason. Well, I don't know. I've never understood those physics, but it just seems like that's the way it is. But these guys that they're coming out of these colleges, Purdue, Illinois State, Iowa, Mississippi State over here, and their mentality and their way of thinking is so much different. They're not used to the bearings and the shafts. They're used to software and wires. And really, when you stop and think about it, software can be a very frustrating thing, but a wire and a module is much easier than a shaft and a bearing in the middle of a 24-row planter. So, but as far as technology and how it's going to evolve, I mean, it's going to be pushed on us. I mean, it's just going to continue to evolve, and it's just your young farmers are going to adapt to it, and there's going to be a large sector of your 40 and 45-year-old guys that are just going to lose out if they don't stay up with it. They're going to lose out.
That's a great call. That's highly intelligent and so true. I think you nailed it too. Software and technology, it can be a son of a bitch. It can be glitchy. It can be this, but boy, when it works, it can also be just an absolute game changer. So yeah, Mark, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I echo everything that Vaughn said. I completely agree. And then in turn with that, from a GBGI perspective, for us, it's as the technology evolves and all of your downforce systems and everything else evolve, then in turn, it continues for us to be an education process to these guys that, hey, what was already important for these wear items on the planter is even more so important now, because especially when you talk about autonomy, eventually there might not be a guy sitting in that planter running it. So everything has to work.
Yeah.
If it's worn out, you can only be as good as the equipment that you have being pulled behind the tractor. And so if something's worn out, there's not an operator in that tractor cab. I don't know at what point is it ever going to get to where the tractor's like, oh, you know what, my row 16 or whatever you want to call it is off. It's bouncing all over the place. I mean, that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Once again, highly intelligent. I mean, you guys both said it. You're only as good as what you're pulling behind that tractor. And if something fails, it's going to even exacerbate that issue so much more because if you're powering your farm in your living room one day with a screen and something breaks out in the middle of it, that's going to make you really unhappy. You better have the most robust stuff possible. I know it sounds weird, but that world's probably not that far off, and it's a matter of adapting to it.
It's not that far off. You know, with these farm simulator video games that these kids are playing nowadays,
Right.
It doesn't matter. You can have a kid in San Francisco that has a 10-year-old little boy that sits in his basement, and he runs across a farm simulator game, and he thinks it's really cool to run a planter or a tractor or something like that. Well, you know, you can actually, on some of these games now, buy upgrades with physical cash. Buy upgrades for these pieces of equipment that are coming. So how cool, you know, if you start that mentality, it's just like, you know, John Deere. I love John Deere. I'm a big Deere fan. But from little on up, they have put toys out there in these kids' hands.
Mm-hmm.
It's an ingenious marketing skill.
Yeah.
These kids don't even really realize what they're doing, but they're getting them used to the color green.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. And we've got to do the same too. I think we need to come up with a video game where I can go buy V-Drive. I can buy GBGI parallel arms. I can buy GBGI disc openers out there. And you pay $10 for that on a video game.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, it's coming.
I hear you.
It's coming.
I hear you.
And I want to be on the forefront of that video game.
That's
where I want to be.
Let's have another call and get on that. I mean, you're right. It's so, and it's all about making it as simple as possible for the end user to see the actual benefit of whatever it is they're buying. And there's video games like that all over the place now too. And you know, I think about Amazon, and everybody tries to replicate what they're doing for a reason, because it is so damn easy to search, to click buy, to find a comparison, to find the lowest price version, to find the middle price version, to find the higher price version, and then to see the benefit and value of how their service works sort of behind the scenes. But I mean, yeah, you're nailing it with these video games and the marketing and just getting kids brainwashed into really thinking about what the color green is and what John Deere is and what New Day and GBGI is, and hopefully the Germinate podcast. I'll send you a Germinate podcast hat and t-shirt and we'll all get there. But talk about agri. Let's kind of close this out and just talk about why are you in the business of agriculture, and why do you think a kid out there listening to this should get into agriculture? It sometimes gets a bad rap, or the forgotten industry in a strange way. And what's your guys' take on why agriculture?
Well, agriculture can be an aggravating business to be in, but in the long run, if you're interested in the American family and the American family setting, it is still your by far best option out there as far as being on the farm and being home. And if you're interested in doing that, you know, you can go place in the Midwest. Over here in the South, in the Delta, we have the scenario, but you go to Illinois, Iowa, you know, those places are full of just bright young kids that want to stay on the farm, but don't really probably have an opportunity to stay on the farm, but that's what they strive for. Agriculture is still a way to, and in the end of life, from the way land values keep rising, you know, it's a lifetime of your net worth growing, so to speak. A lot of times, I mean, a greater percentage probably than not. We continue to see that people want to be in agriculture. They'll work 2 jobs just so they can farm 400 acres. It's just, I don't know what it is, but there's just something about watching something grow in rows that is really, really great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome,
It's
man.
a
I love it.
it comes down to self-satisfaction, and just, I did that.
Uh-huh.
You know, I think that's really what it is, and that could go and be in any field, but, you know, when you see a vast 200 or 300 acre field, and it's RTK'd in, and it's perfect, you know what? Yeah, the good Lord up in heaven did a lot of it, but he also made us stewards over and he made us want to, and he demanded that we do the best we can. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, choosing the right products and having the right products on your planter, and you're keeping your maintenance up, and that's all a, so to speak, a godly thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
people
exactly.
like that.
Yeah.
People like that.
I agree 100%. That's funny. That's what I was gonna say. You know, one of my favorite verses is Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, work at it willingly for the Lord, not for men alone. And that's what agriculture is to me, because you're right, Vaughn. I mean, he gave us all the assets to do this, and at the end of the day, it's about providing for the American family. I mean, the fact that you can see the work that you put in end up on somebody's table, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Man, you boys are making the hair on my neck stand up with those answers. Dear Lord, I love it. And it's so true. I mean, we all try to find a purpose in life and try to find a reason for what we're waking up for and what we're trying to do. And I always say this to any business that I've ever talked to. It's not about how much money you make in the end. It really isn't. I mean, that's a big part of why we're all in business. But the more important than that is, why are you waking up? What is your purpose? What are you doing on a day-to-day basis to fulfill yourself, your family, to thrive for God? And agriculture is one of those almost scientifically ways to do that. And I even notice it with my suburban friends and neighbors, where they put a couple of tomatoes and cucumbers in their backyard and put the seed in and watch them grow. And it's so satisfying. They take pictures and throw it on Instagram. And it's like one of these scientifically proven theories that makes you happy. It gives you a purpose. And so, yeah, man, I mean, if those of you are wondering if agriculture is a good industry, listen to Vaughn and Marc talk about. I mean, you could see it in your, even though we're on camera, I could see it, I could feel it from you guys, and yeah, it's a great business, it's a great industry because of what you said, and because of people like you too as well. And this is why people are successful, because all of a sudden you find one another, and you want each other to be successful. You want each other to be good stewards of business. And now look where this relationship has taken you, and the sky's the limit on where it's going to take you guys in the future. So, my gosh, I couldn't be happier talking to you. We're going to have to record a part 2 version of this, because Vaughn, you're a natural podcaster, by the way. I hope have you ever done this before? Have you ever done this?
2 or 3 times.
I was gonna say
I did it with Mississippi State a couple of times. But that's it.
Well, I won't fault you for that. They're the Bulldogs, right?
Yeah, the Bulldogs. Yeah, but I'm a Kansas guy, so I like the Bulldogs, but I'm more of a Kansas fan. So
yeah,
that's easier to be a Kansas fan in basketball, even football these days. But
I'll tell you what, these Bulldogs, they know how to throw a baseball.
Do they? That's a good point. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Well, listen, guys, I appreciate you so much for coming on. You're good folks. Vaughn, why don't you tell people how to get in touch with you, your website, your socials? I'll post this in the show notes too, but give a good plug here.
Yeah, you can just get a hold of us. We got our website, newdayprecision.com, and you can find us there and all of our products there, or you can call, of course, at 662-694-0188. It'll get a hold of me directly. And I think that's a very, very important thing. And we're on Facebook, so you can follow us on Facebook on both the regular feed and then the business side of Facebook. So we're on there too. So
nice.
Yep.
Marc, what about you? Might as well plug yourself, plug GBGI.
Yep. You can always contact me direct on my cell, 440-226-4832. Company number is 440-285-3840. You can find us at gbgiusa.com or on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram.
All right, guys, that was awesome. You did great. I appreciate you again. Thanks so much. And till next time, we're going to record a part 2 of this for sure. This was too good, so I appreciate it. Thank you all.
Hey, folks, thanks for tuning into the Germinate Podcast. If you found value in today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others in the industry. And join me next time as we continue to explore the innovations and strategies shaping the future of agriculture and business. Until then, keep growing, keep innovating, and keep germinating your success.